Hi, it's Fran. Everything we ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Fear of losing, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, fear of failure, fear of success. So many things that we can be fearful about around our work and our life. Recently, I had an opportunity to rappel down a 350-foot building in downtown Cincinnati for a good cause. It was for a charitable program. And I decided to challenge myself by doing this. I wanted to literally go out over the edge and move past my fear. I'm not terrified of heights, but I'm certainly not very comfortable with them. So I decided to take some time to prepare, and I did all the mindset shift and the visualizing myself going over the edge, because really most of my fear was around that initial stepping out over the edge. So I did a lot of head work, and I did a little bit of preparation at the climbing wall, and I was feeling pretty good about it. And then somebody along the way said, well, when you rappel, you have to lean backwards. And I'm thinking, lean backwards? That's a bit much for me to get my head around. That's pretty scary. And a couple of days before I was due to go to the event, I really started seriously thinking about backing out of it. And I came up with some pretty good rationale and how I would address it and how I would be able to explain to all my supporters that had contributed to my fundraising program that I could justify it by saying, well, sometimes we have to really push past our fear, but we don't always succeed, and it's okay to meet ourselves where we are, which is true. However, I did some more work and I did a little bit more investigation, and I learned that actually I wouldn't have to lean back, that I would be sitting upright in a harness, making an L shape with my legs of my body going down the building wall. So I kind of played around with that and visualized that. And then it came time for the event, and I went up to the 26th floor, having done some preparation ahead of time in the stairwell. Walked out onto the 26th floor and then was confronted by some scaffolding. Had to walk out onto the scaffolding. Then the moment of truth came, and I could feel my heart racing. I could feel my mouth starting to go dry and the adrenaline starting to circulate. And there was a woman there who was one of the volunteers, and she looked at me and she stared me right in the eyes, and she said, "You'll be okay. It's going to be fine. You're going to do great. Just breathe," which is interesting because that's what I always tell people, to breathe. So I took my breaths and I went off the edge, and just as I had visualized, once I was over the edge, I was fine, and I rappelled gradually, slowly, methodically down to the bottom. I could hear my friends and family cheering me on at the bottom. I didn't look down and I didn't look up. I was completely, utterly in the zone, in the moment, just looking at that wall, working my way gradually down. And when I got out at the bottom, I just grinned and I felt such a sense of accomplishment. So what I wanted to share here is that we don't all necessarily have to go rappelling off tall buildings. But when we are confronted by our fears, most of the time, what we are afraid of just never happens. And when we do push past that and we do have that sense of accomplishment, there is an amazing feeling of self-confidence. And now I'm going to go back and do it again another time. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been an interesting experience, and one that I hope many of you will follow. Again, not necessarily going off a building, but confronting your fears and moving past them. It will help strengthen you in your work and in your life. And if you've enjoyed this, please check back with me. It's been fun talking to you, and I hope you will subscribe to my YouTube channel and go to my website. Click on the button below this link and get my free 3 keys to creating your amazing life and getting unstuck. So talk to you next time.